Okay. Hey guys, today we're talking about windows. I'm going to show you how I installed a clamp ring window. I'm going to show you how I installed 2 bonded windows, and then I'm going to show you how we made a mistake on one of the bonded windows and had to remove it. So there's also a removal at the end of this video that you should check out, especially if you're having major leaks or have issues with your windows. It's pretty easy to remove, it's just really hard to install. Okay, so I bought 3 different windows because I wanted a lot of light in the van. I was gonna try to be like stealthy at first, but then I realized that my mental health and like seeing the beauty of the world was much more important. So I decided to go for 3 windows. I got 2 rear windows that are actually bonded windows, like with glue, and then I got a side window that is a clamp window, so you screw it in from both sides. If I would have made a different choice, I would have chosen all clamp windows because bonded windows are really hard to do by yourself, and you will see that later in this video, but they turned out fine. Alright, so we're gonna take a drill bit and drill kind of along this edge all the way around, and then trace out the outline with a marker on the outside, and then use the jigsaw on the outside to cut through all this. Alright, so we've taped up where we are going to cut the window, making sure that we protect all the spots around it, drilled some pilot holes so we can get the jigsaw through, and then are going to cut out this piece of metal to install a window. So stay tuned. Window. It has a clamp ring, so we're gonna have to pre-drill some holes into that with a drill bit, just to make sure that lines up and for easier installation. So the first thing we're gonna do is pull the part of the frame together. We're gonna pull the frame together so it's like flush, and then drill 2 pilot holes here, and then put screws in there as well, and then put pilot holes in around the rest of the window. So the screws will be going into this channel.
It's like a U-shaped channel that the screw should go into.
Yep.
Megan, point to it.
This little channel here.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, we got our 2 screws in, and now we're gonna drill pilot holes into the rest of the existing holes. Alright, so we are putting in the screws kind of like you would a tire, trying to distribute the weight a little bit, and we're not putting them fully in, we're only putting them in halfway, just so the frame doesn't get wonky. So, and then we'll go around and tighten all of them. Alright, our window is in. So we had to keep going around and around and around to drill these in more and more, because every time we drilled more, it just showed us how much more that you could keep drilling. So I do say do a little bit every time so it's even, and just keep going around until it's so flush that your screws can't go in anymore. It's so nice to have this window in. I'm so excited. It's just nice to have my van actually look like someone's living in it and not just a big cargo van. Anyways, today we are putting in the 2 back windows, which shouldn't take too long after doing the big window yesterday. I think this will go pretty quick. So we're gonna just drill some pilot holes all around the interior of the frame, and then we're going to take a jigsaw, cut those out, file down the edges, put some primer along the edges, and then also some urethane, whatever. And then that around with like a little seal, and then glue the windows on. But I hope you enjoy your lovely day wherever you're watching this. All right, we got our 2 rear windows, and it came with this kit that has the, oh, it's actually Sikaflex. Sikaflex and primer and little daubers. Okay, so the van windows did not come with the edge molding that's supposed to go inside of them, like to cover the metal edge. So we're gonna see if we can find it at Home Depot or Lowe's, but like I don't know if we might have to order online and hold on the windows, which is gonna be really annoying. Okay, update, we had to order a seal online. That's gonna come in 2 days. It's a holiday today, so it's not gonna ship out till tomorrow. So Wednesday we will finish the window install, which is really annoying. It came. So we're gonna go ahead and try to put the windows on. I'm gonna take some isopropyl alcohol and just wipe around the edges, and then put a primer on, and then we put the urethane. Then we're gonna put the urethane all around the edges. After running into so many hurdles, the back 2 windows are finally in. So after we installed this window the first time, we were fixing some of the leaks that were happening because of the doors, but we found that water was actually coming in through this window, and when I looked at the edge trimming, like between that and the glass, you could just see huge gaps where the glue didn't bond, or it was just like too thin, and so it kind of like pulled apart a little bit. So I went online and tried to find some answers, and most of the forums and other places and things just said that I had to remove the window and do it all over again. So I ended up buying a windshield removal kit, and that's how I got this window off. And then I had to scrape all the glue off, reprime it, put a new bead of the Sikaflex P2G between that, and then put the window back on. And this time when I put the window back on, I put a really thick bead at the top, and then kind of had it, try to keep it as thick as I could all the way around. And I think when I looked just with my eyes at like where it was bonded from the inside, there's like one tiny little gap where I think it's on the bottom, water's not going to leak in, but I might try to find another way to just seal that just for peace of mind. So, but the top looks great. No water's going to leak on this baby. Okay, so we're going to be removing this window today. We bought suction cups so it's easier to get on and off. We're going to be using this tool here to separate the window from the glue, so you kind of just stick it and slide it in, and then pull it back out, and then you attach this wire to the end of this and then push it through slowly to the other side, and then hook the wire onto these little like T-grip things. So you just slide the wire through there and then pull down, and then you just start to saw through the glue with the 2 different pieces. So we're gonna try that method today and see how it goes. Oh, there it is. as you can see, this little tool has poked through between the glass and the van. We took that little tool and attached it on the other side, and then pushed it on through, and then pulled the wire through on this side, and then removed the tool. To thread these little bitties, you first need to put it through the bottom. On the inside, it'll guide it out once it goes through. So you push it through. Then there's two little holes. You want to stick it through those two little holes, out the other side, and then pull down, and that should provide enough tension on that side. Voila! Okay, so we got the window off. We're using this lovely chisel here, which is surprisingly not scratching the paint, but is just taking the glue off so easily. So I'd recommend something like this with a pretty sharp edge. Sick! Alright, so if I were to do a few things differently with the windows, I would have done these things. One, make sure you have all of the parts before you start the project. That would be ideal. Two, honestly, windows would be the one thing that I wish I would have hired out to a professional, just because it's really easy to mess up and a lot of things can go wrong, and you just want it to be as best as it can be without damaging your van. So I think for what we did on our own, we did fine, but it's something you have to be very careful and very delicate with. But I'm so happy to have windows. I'm so happy to have sunlight coming into this van.